everybody to episode number 64 of Gaming Culture Radio. I'm your host, Tyler. Joined as always by our three co-hosts. Let's start with Mike. How you doing today?
Oh, not bad, dude. I'm just sitting on here shopping for window ACs. How about you?
About the same.
Yep.
And also joining us is the freshly healed Graham. How are you?
Freshly healed. Hear my voice. It's back. I'm
Okay.
doing good. I took a little bit of time off work to heal up because of my voice, and when I wasn't sleeping, I was playing some video games, so I made the best of the situation.
Yeah,
What I want to know is which one of you guys are playing the jungle drums.
I was about to say, who's playing Donkey Kong Country Jungle Beats on the Wii?
That's not me.
Yeah.
It's probably
Oh,
Tyler playing with his fidget spinner and
Nope.
hitting the...
Not at all. I don't hear anything, so I don't know.
It sounds like somebody typing, but it sounds bassy.
Yeah,
Nope, not me.
it's gone.
Okay.
We have a mystery.
Magically, it went away.
All right, cool. Anyway. And also joining us is Eugene. How are you doing?
I'm a little bit bittersweet today. I had a long day. It's hot outside, had to mow the lawn like I do every couple of weeks, and then I sold my kayaks today, so I'm a little bit depressed about that. Can't go kayaking anymore.
Why'd you sell your kayak for then?
Don't say anymore, just for now. There's
Well-
always the future.
I just can't use them anymore with a baby now. Can't really go on the river with a girlfriend, go fishing, so I'm like, it's taking up space in my garage. Plus, it's like $400 in my pocket, so I'm like, okay.
There you go.
And that'll cover like half the games you're going to buy this fall.
Yeah, maybe
So-
half. You know, I could put down a down payment on the Xbox One X. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
really.
hey, to join in the conversation, everybody, you can go and join our page on Facebook. Head over on Facebook and look up the Gaming Culture Radio forums. Once you're there, join the conversation, submit questions. If they're read on the show, you'll be entered to win our monthly giveaway, which we'll do next week for the month of July. We want to let everybody that ask questions today get them in while we're on the show if there's any last second questions. But we'll do that giveaway next week. And we have a monthly giveaway that's a pretty cool thing, usually either a gift card or some game or memorabilia or something cool. So please head over and join. We've had some people joining. Really appreciate that. And please take part in the conversation. We love seeing that page alive and well with lots of people talking. So, and you can get all your gaming news over at culturegaming.com, which is now up and running and good to go.
Yeah.
We're working out a couple last second kinks in it, I think, but they're getting that taken care of. So, culturegaming.com for all your gaming news. It's a one-stop shop for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC. And you'll also be able to access all of the streaming that we do on Twitch and YouTube content as well. So with that, let's head into news. Everybody, Pokemon Go has had a lot of really good things happen to them, but last weekend, not so much.
Oh.
They had the Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago, which people attended from all over the world. Really excited to see, the new content that was going to be in the game. What was it, Legends or something like that?
Yeah, the legendary. There's a couple of legendary Pokemon. Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, the game just did not work there.
Wow.
And the live event, the live stream that they had was basically shut down by booze through a lot of it. And to their credit, the presenters tried to trudge on and kind of ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
But Niantic has made it up, or they're trying to make it up, by refunding everybody's ticket money and giving every player that attended $100 in-game currency, which honestly is more than a lot of companies do for stuff like this.
Yeah.
But they're still facing a class action lawsuit that just got filed for most of the players that traveled from overseas for all the travel costs that they incurred to attend the event. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Well, we do live.
Go ahead,
We-
Mike.
Just something small. We do live in the age of, I'll sue you. So I'm not at all surprised that a class action lawsuit is being filed. At the end of the class action lawsuit, they'll probably each get, a stick of gum and 75 cents. Because that's usually how it ends up after lawyer fees.
It's like when Canada went on strike in South Park.
Yeah, pretty much.
They get like Bennigan certificates or something.
Yeah, they got like a $15 Bennigan's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead, Eugene. All you know.
I mean, I feel bad for Niantic. The CEO was actually going out on stage and was getting booed off the stage. But I've kind of heard mixed reviews on it. Overall, from what I understand, the experience was great. The experience was great overall. It's just that during that time frame of when the event launched, no one was able to get on, and it really wasn't on Niantic's end, which they should have prepared for it, or they should have known that all the cell phone towers were going to get bogged down, and that's exactly what happened. It wasn't anything on the games end. It was basically whenever the cell phone towers get overloaded with data being pulled from them, they shut down, and that's what happened. But afterwards, a couple hours into the event, people were able to get on. People were able to catch the legendary Pokemon. Were able to go to the stops and everything. So overall, I think it was a successful event, and I think it was actually kind of above and beyond that they refunded the tickets, and then they also gave the $100, which is a lot for in-game currency. And
yeah, for sure.
I can understand that. I know that some people like traveled, but I don't think a lot of people. The majority of people were. It's Chicago. A lot of people are going to come and come try out this event because it's the first ever Pokemon Go event of that scale in Legendary Pokemon.
Well, it was to celebrate their 1 year anniversary, right? That was
right. The 1 year anniversary plus they're having the legendary what are they called? Where everyone teams up and does a gym together and takes down a legendary, and then they have a chance to get it. So I don't think it's all on Niantic, but they should have known. Maybe they shouldn't have charged for tickets. They should have just had it as a free event to get there and stuff. Because I mean, like, what kind of things do you have to have there to charge for, really?
Well, I mean, anything you're gonna charge money for people to get in, though. I mean, they're gonna try to make something off of it. Plus, it helps you control the crowd.
Right.
You limit the number of tickets you're selling.
That's true.
I mean, look at
but unfortunately, it didn't limit them enough, though.
No, they didn't. But look at like PAX, where anybody can go. It's not as limited as E3, and PAX is like shoulder to shoulder throughout the entire hall. Mm-hmm. And most like gaming journalists, when you listen to them, they hate going to it because it's just you can't get anywhere. So I ticket sales they're a necessary evil because they help limit the number of people, I think, but still, I think Niantic, I agree, I think Niantic went kind of above and beyond here. So, and if that's true, that it was really just during that one little part of it that there was an issue, then I'm not sure the class action lawsuits are really warranted.
No, maybe.
I think that's people trying to get what they can get.
I mean, the judge has to look at it and say whether it can go or not. Probably say no in this case because it was just a momentary thing,
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it was kind of out of their control as well, right? Like, if they were to blame, like, personally, then... But, like Eugene was saying about the cell towers and so many people trying to log in and bog it down. So, really, that's not Niantic's fault.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a lawyer that was just at the ready.
I'm sure.
That got in contact with people and was like, hey, you want to join in on this class action lawsuit? They're trying to make a dime out of it, is what it is.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated as it plays out over probably the coming months, because these things take a while. So we'll keep you updated. Let's move on. If you're still waiting to pre-order the Xbox One X, Phil Spencer says it has finally been approved by the FCC, and pre-orders will be available soon. My guess is it's going to be here in the coming week. I think what he said is kind of they're putting together the strategy for it, which probably means bundles, etc.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you'll see... a Forza bundle, a Crackdown 3 bundle, all that good stuff.
Battlefield bundle.
Yeah, at this point, I'm wondering if they shouldn't just give Crackdown for free.
Right.
The more we see of it, the worse it looks.
Pretty much.
And I'll tell you, that game isn't even on my radar at this
point. Personally, I have no desire whatsoever to get that game.
When I think about what I'm getting, people will say Crackdown 3, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's coming out too. It just... it didn't look good to me. I was more excited for it when I saw it last year.
Did you guys play Crackdown 2? Like, did you guys enjoy that?
I did play Crackdown 2. Yeah. I just didn't see much of a point to it. It's basically, you got collectibles, you got these really easy missions, and you just go around and, kill your target. And I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like a small scale Grand Theft Auto, but with guns and no cars. Well, there is a little bit of cars, but It's underwhelming. There's nothing really that sets it apart from anything else out there.
And is it like online multiplayer as well?
I don't remember what Crackdown 2. It's been so long since I played it, but I probably played it about 4 or 5 hours for him. Like, and I don't see the point. So
I don't think that game's going to really show off the power of the 1X that much.
No, it's not.
We saw.
Forza.
I think Forza is. And I
Definitely.
think Assassin's Creed is from a third party.
Definitely.
And I think Destiny 2 will too, because when you look at like the kind of the color palette in that game, 4K is gonna make that jump. It's dark backgrounds with bright colors in the foreground a lot of times. So I think that's gonna make that jump. And from a sports standpoint, I think Madden, they showed kind of player rendering in 4K on Xbox One X, and it looks great. So there's other games you're gonna be able to play to get that experience, but.
Right.
Man, I don't see Crackdown doing it. But anyway, you're gonna be able to pre-order the 1X soon. So
you know what? What didn't get approval by the FCC?
What's that?
The SNES Classic.
Did it really? Not?
Yeah, it hasn't been approved by the FCC. That's why it wasn't available for pre-order yet, even though we all pre-ordered it.
By the way, I wanna say to anybody out there listening that pre-ordered off Walmart or wherever and had it canceled, we feel your pain because we're included.
Yes.
We jumped out. Eugene had the great find, like he saw it, and it was I think a Friday night, and we were playing. He caught it, and he was like, whatever we were talking about, he was just like, "Stop talking. Nothing's as important as this." and he said it. I went and pre-ordered right away. Extra one to send to Graham. And
yes.
We're all excited. We're all like, "Oh, we got it. We don't have to fight the crowds or anything like that." And then they all got canceled and refunded.
Yeah. A few days later.
We were actually talking about it on the last podcast, and I was all excited for it, and now this is the disappointment podcast.
Yep, it is. So
sad panda.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. So we feel for everybody.
Sad moves.
So good luck to next time whoever had pre-orders and lost them.
But you should be able to get the Sega Genesis one with no problems. Concerning that a third of the games on there are like, I think to quote IGN, complete garbage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Because they're not actual Genesis games. They're like extra games. That
bonus.
Through in there.
They call them
bonus games. Sorry, bonus. So it's like getting a bonus bag of crap.
Yay.
Yeah.
It's still a bag of crap, but it's
free,
a bonus.
But it's terrible. So, I guess the actual Sega games on there perform pretty well, right? From what we saw. So, if you're interested in that, I had the Genesis when I was a little kid.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I played the greatest sports game ever on, by the way, NHL '94.
Yeah, it had some Sega had really good sports games back in the day. Like they're the king between the Sega Genesis and the Sega CD. They were the kings of the sports games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Cyberball.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Nintendo take a while? Like Nintendo didn't have like NHL '94, and
Super Nintendo had it.
Super Nintendo had it. And they had Wayne Gretzky, and then they had
Gretzky was awful.
But they did have NHL '94 because I personally owned it myself.
Okay. Right. Then I stand corrected. Did they have Madden too, or no?
I don't know. I think they had Madden, but it just wasn't a great platform to play on. The Sega was a platform playing, and then they had FIFA. I remember playing FIFA on the Super Nintendo, but still it ran better on the Genesis and the Sega CD.
Mm-hmm. Tecmo Bowl for football on Nintendo was great.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah. Yes, Bo Jackson for the win.
Yes.
That Bo Jackson commercial last year, the Tecmo Bowl based one. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was great.
Yeah.
The Family Guy, where Family Guy covered it.
I think so.
Yeah, they took it off Family Guy because Family Guy made fun of like the Bo Jackson cheat, where if you play as Bo Jackson, you're invincible.
Yeah, you're pretty much invincible. Yeah. Yep. So.
Yep.
Anyway, all right.
Running him around.
But to go back to the original story, 1X pre-orders will be available soon. So let's move on. Sticking with Xbox, the Summer Spotlight has kicked off with Infinite Mini Golf, Aven Colony, Fortnite, and Fable Fortune. Mike, I know you picked up Fable Fortune. How are you liking that so far?
I think it's well constructed. I mean, I like the graphics on it. I like the sound effects, and I like the way that it plays as far as rule sets and stuff like that goes. It's kind of bare bones right now. There's 3 ways you can play. There's a tutorial, which doesn't really teach you anything. You're just playing against a computer player. It's not that good. Or you got PvP, which is versus another person, or co-op, which is you two versus a boss. And that's pretty cool. But the really cool thing is for a whopping $12 still, up until Tuesday, I believe, you can get 30 packs for free with it. And I was looking at the prices, and 30, it was 40 or 30, I can't remember which one, but at the most 40 is $50. So you're getting a lot of value for your $12. And it's got a deck builder, and you can actually you can scrap cards for ink, and then depending on how much ink you have, you can make better cards that you don't already have.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can, and of course you can build a deck. There's 7 different types of players right now. I know there's Alchemist, Merchant, Prophet, Shapeshifter, Knight, and I think there's like 2 other ones I can't remember off the top of my head. But they all have their strengths and weaknesses, and Merchant seems to be extremely strong, because what you can do per turn is based on how much gold you have for the turn, and it starts you off with 3, then 4, then 5, and goes all the way up each turn till somebody wins. And the Merchant can manipulate it so he gets more, but anyways, I could go on and on and on. But I think for $12, you get in now while it's in game preview, and I think it's really worth it. I do, because I can't see this going anywhere but getting better.
I really hope that Fable Fortune turns into a mobile game, because that sounds like the perfect game for mobile, which I know Microsoft rarely does it, but I loved Hearthstone, the Warcraft card game, and I love playing it on my iPad, and I think Fable Fortune, hopefully Microsoft turns it into a mobile port where you could play it, because that's something I'd like to play on the go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with 100% on that, Eugene. I've been playing a few of those types of games on my iPad, and this one would be a great one to have on there as well.
Yeah. And then
I find these card games work better on a touch screen instead of with a controller and scrolling and moving. So that's definitely my preference.
Well, it doesn't. There's not. I don't really think you have you don't have a cursor in this game. It's all done with the buttons and the triggers. So there's nothing really to highlight in the game. But the only problem with it being mobile is mobile players only be able to play with mobile players, because it's not going to be on the same sort of operating system as
Xbox. Hearthstone you can play with PC and mobile players. So Microsoft might do so, because the way Microsoft games works on, like, I have like Halo, Spartan Assault, and some other little mini Microsoft games, and it links up with my Microsoft account, so I can play online with Microsoft players, and I can play I can gain achievements and stuff. So if they would do something like that, I totally agree with you.
Right, but last time I saw Microsoft do anything on mobile and PC, it had to do with the Windows platform, the Windows Phone or whatever, and those things are pretty much all dead.
No, so. I still play Microsoft games. There's they have like the Microsoft Solitaire collection. They've got, like I said, Spartan Assault, where you can do things and have leaderboards and stuff, and it all links up to my Xbox account.
Cool. Yeah, I thought Microsoft didn't even dip their hand in iOS and Android, really.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, not too much.
Of course, these days you look at the top lists and it's all Candy Crush and a bunch of other crap that sucks the
Don't
money
say
out of
nobody
people's
plays.
wallets.
Yeah. Everybody,
So, yeah. Anyways, what else we got, Ty?
All right. So there's a game coming in this that I wanted to touch on real quick with you guys. I don't know if you've seen it. I think it's called Dead Alliance, right? And it's coming out next week or the week after. But it's doing something really cool and original. So you can buy the entire game for full $60, which has single player plus multiplayer. Or they're offering you the opportunity to buy the multiplayer only version of the game.
Really?
For a cheaper price.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And when I think of this, I immediately think of Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You know,
because some people just play it for the multiplayer. They do not do the single campaign at all.
It also makes me think of games like Madden for Ultimate Team. What if Madden just charged like $20 for Ultimate Team and let you play that, and they'd still make a ton of money off the packs, and more people would get the game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you guys see that as a trend? Do you think that's gonna
break smart
as a strategy, or do you think it's just a one-time deal with this game?
They might experiment with it just to see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely got to test the waters before they go all in. Can't believe I just used that poker term, but I did.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, like Call of Duty for me, I play the campaign every time I get the game. I actually kind of enjoy it. And it's super over the top, and it's like total Michael Bay stuff, but I enjoy it.
Right.
Because I know what I'm getting. I'm not expecting anything that's like Academy Award worthy, or like Game of the Year, story-wise or whatever. But I think a lot of players would jump on that. And I know I'm in the super minority. Like 90% of players that get Call of Duty never touch the campaign. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true, because I never really did.
Yeah, and yeah, that's an actual number, by the way, 90%. So they've done the research.
All right.
Look at the play patterns of players, but
it makes
just
sense.
grab it and jump into multiplayer, right? So.
Right.
I think for games like that, and for like Battlefield, and it's funny given that when Battlefront came out, there was such a fit over there being no campaign.
Yeah.
Because when there's shooters like this, most people just jump into multiplayer and they go.
Right.
I think players just want the option.
Yeah, Titanfall was like that as well. There was no single player campaign.
Yeah, there wasn't in the first one. Well, there kind of was, but it wasn't. It was a campaign in the same way that Destiny 1 had a story. So it just was, but it wasn't. But the second one has a legit campaign. It's one of the best shooter campaigns I've ever played. So, I don't know. I think it's a really cool idea and a cool concept, and the game actually looks fun. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you haven't, check it out. But it actually looks like a fun game. Dead Alliance, it's called. But
Dead Alliance.
Yeah, it's part of this. It's part of this summer sale or summer promotion. So, yeah, it looks cool, and I thought the two different versions of the game was a really cool concept and something new and fun. Anyway, all right, let's wrap up with Xbox and PlayStation have announced Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus, respectively. Let's start with Xbox. Starting on the 1st, you can get Slime Rancher, whatever that is.
Yeah.
It was really popular on PC for a while.
And on the 16th, you can get Trials Fusion on Xbox One.
Yeah.
So during August, you can get Bayonetta and Red Faction on Xbox 360 as well.
Yeah.
And on Xbox One with backwards compatibility. Over to PlayStation Plus, the titles for August, and I just put down the PS4 one, so I apologize. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Freedom Cry, the standalone story in that game, just that standalone, is free. And Just Cause 3. So once again, PlayStation has the better games. Because they have a serious AAA game in there that's not really that old.
Yeah, Just Cause 3. When did that come out?
What, last December?
Yeah, it's holiday 2016.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad now that I didn't buy it, because I'm going to download it for free on PS4 and play it. So, man, I really want to see Xbox step up and just put something good.
I mean, it's hit and miss sometimes, but I'm excited for Bayonetta, because Bayonetta was a fantastic game on 360, so we'll get to play that backwards compatible. And
yeah, I might
Trials.
try that one
I like Trials Fusion. It's a game that you can just pick up and play really quickly. It's very fun. It's very fun and addicting and pretty challenging too. So, but the Slimes Ranger as their forefront key title. I've never heard of it. It might be fantastic, but it's kind of hit and miss with them sometimes.
Eugene, it would be like if PlayStation put that I'm Mayo game that you loved.
Yeah, as the forefront title. Yeah.
There's a lot of Xbox games that you can put out, and they have put Sunset Overdrive, and they finally put Rise, like way too late, but they finally did it.
Yeah.
And Xbox back in the day did put Black Flag, the original game, on Games of Gold, but not the expansion. But It's hit and miss. It's just I wish they were more consistent, like you said.
Mm-hmm. But every time we see the articles where they like add up for the year the dollar value of the free games between Xbox and PlayStation, PlayStations are always more valuable.
That's true.
They just are. And, Xbox, they can do better there. They just can. And I wish they would.
Something about Xbox 2 is whenever you games with gold, you actually own the game. You own the title. PlayStation 4, you have to have.
I thought Xbox changed that now. I thought they made it tied to a live active gold account now.
As far as I know,
I might be wrong.
Yeah, as far as I know, if you get the game, it's in your library forever. You don't have to have an active membership if you pay for that month.
That reminds me, though, real quick before we move on out of news, PlayStation is actually increasing their PS Plus prices in Europe and Australia.
Yep, by $10.
Do you think that's a precursor for another increase in the U.S.?
I think from what I read, I heard that too, and from what I read is more to level set the pricing. I still think it's overall going to be $60 American. Yeah. So I don't think so. I think it's just to level set the pricing across the globe.
And I'll say this for you: this PS Plus has been a lot more stable, like in this year than we've seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen it come down at all.
No, I mean it has, like for a day or two or hours or whatever. But that happens with Xbox all the time too. And knock on wood, we're coming into the holiday season, and that's when all the bored teenagers want to have their fun and shut it down.
Yeah.
But as you guys know, Christmas week, there's always some threat of shutting it down and all that stuff, which is stupid.
We steered clear last holiday, right? Because there's all the threats last holiday, and then everything was fine as far as I remember.
They were, because, I think these companies are ready now too, and they're not even hacking. It's people call them
DDoSing.
Hackers. They're not hackers. They're just overloading the server. That's all they're doing. They're just
maybe that's what happened with Pokemon Go. Maybe somebody just DDoSed it.
Maybe.
You never know.
But I hope that doesn't happen again. I hope the one that I'm really worried about if it does happen is PlayStation. But to their credit, Microsoft actually reached out to PlayStation to offer to help them last time this happened. Because they both got hit, and Microsoft got back up first, and then they reached out to PlayStation and offered to help get their service back up.
Yeah, did you hear about the guy? They caught the guy. Yeah, they caught the guy. And he got like 4 months of prison. Yeah. That's it.
I mean,
for ruining everyone's Christmas. Yeah.
Throw this guy in jail for 10 years and nobody will do it anymore.
I don't know. Major cyber attack like that.
I'm sorry, but it's illegal. I'm sorry, but it's illegal.
What they say? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
And I get
Grammy.
The first. Well, Mike, why should there be no punishment?
No, I'm with you on that one. But it's kind of like that. That's kind of like the whole weed thing. They gave some dude 10 years because he had a gram on him, and that didn't stop anybody from doing anything. But if they did something where if they got let's say 3 or 4 individuals, gave them each 2 years, even if they were juveniles, put them in juvie for 2 years, that would slow some people down because I don't think people really want to go to prison for hacking.
What I'd argue is that the difference is, and I don't want to get into a 420 discussion on the podcast, but that's become much more mainstream and common. How many people in high school and college don't do it now? Or at least try it.
Yeah.
So, but not everybody's out there trying to shut down Xbox Live. It's a much smaller group. Much, much smaller. And the people that watch it, they're like, that's cool, I can get attention. Because there's a difference. These people that are doing this, they want attention.
Yeah. Risk reward, right? Yep. These people are doing it for nothing.
Either they're trying to make some stupid point like your service isn't secure, so I'm going to shut you down and ruin everybody's Christmas. Or some of them might have some pipe dream that they'll show how awesome they are and get hired.
But, yeah, that didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen. But people that do like, marijuana or whatever, they're not out for attention. And they're not really hurting anyone. And personally, not getting into politics, but personally, I think it should be, I think what Washington and Colorado have done and other states should be the way it is.
Welcome to the 420 podcast, everybody.
I know. Sorry. But they're not hurting anybody. And they're not trying to hurt anybody. So the people that shut it down, like over the holidays and stuff, they're trying to like ruin people's holiday. So like I say, throw them in jail for 10 years, and then the people that look up to them might say, be like, maybe I won't do that.
Yeah.
It's but it's weird because that they went, didn't they like hunt this guy down, and then they found him, and then they gave him like what? Wasn't it just a few months, right, Eugene? It was like 4 months.
It was just a few months, and then the guy that ousted him, like the guy that turned him in and like reported his information and stuff, got more time in jail than he did. Got a harsher punishment because he hacked the guy's information, and so he got charged, and he got a harsher punishment than the guy that actually did the crime, which is ridiculous.
That is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's our justice system. It wasn't our justice system.
It wasn't
it was
ours. It was Sweden,
UK.
right?
Yeah, it was UK or Sweden or something.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was in one of the Scandinavian states or countries. Anyway, if we have nothing else to talk about, game or weed related, we'll move on. That's going to do it for news this week, everybody, on that wonderful note. And
yes.
We're going to turn
what
over
a wonderful
to Graham.
note that was.
I know. We're going to turn over to Graham to tell us what we're getting in stores.
Okay. Next week, we have an even split of new releases for Xbox One and PS4. And a couple of these titles will be released for both systems, and one will be joining Xbox One release on the PC. So let me tell you all about it. So starting on August 1st, we have Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, which will be released for both Xbox One and PS4. And after that, we have 4 more new releases for PS4. Those are Dino Frontier, Demetrios, The Big Cynical Adventure, Patapon Remastered, and The Long Dark. Now, Demetrios will be released on the following day on the 2nd for Xbox One. Now, also being released on the 2nd for Xbox One, we have Tacoma, and this game will be released a day earlier on PC. Then to end off the week, on the 4th, we will get 3 Xbox One titles and 1 PS4 title. For Xbox One, those games are Race Arcade, The Way, and Mr. Shifty. And for the PS4, we will be getting Lawbreakers. So as you can see or hear, there's not a whole lot in terms of new releases for consoles. So this kind of helps balance out for the new releases that we got last week, which was plentiful. So let's throw it on over to Mike and see what deals are out there in the world of gaming. Mike?
All right, boys and girls. So I'm going to skip the deals with gold and PS4 free games because we pretty much covered that in the news. Now, there are a couple of interesting sales going on right now. Right now, Western Digital, My Passport Ultra 4 terabyte external HDD USB 3.0 manufacturer recertified hard drive is $89.99 via Western Digital. They also have the 1 terabyte for $40, and they also have the 2 terabyte for $64. But I mean, for 4, you might as well pay the $90 and get the 4 terabyte. Xbox One Connect via Walmart right now is $40. So if you still wanted one, you might as well get it now while you still can. I don't even know if they're in production anymore. Borderlands The Handsome Collection is $14.99 at Best Buy right now, $11.99 GCU. Killer Instinct Definitive Edition right now is $22.39 GCU at Best Buy. Elder Scrolls is $7.99 on the Microsoft Store. If you've never had a chance to play Alien Isolation right now via Groupon, you can get it for $14.99. So that game is really, really, really good. So, I'm trying to. Okay, there's a Silicon Power 480 gigabyte SSD. It has to be a 480 gigabyte SSD, $108. USB 3.0. So that's also available as well. Friday 13th is getting Tom Savini designed Jason Voorhees skin for free right now in the Xbox store, so you can get a hold of that. And Diablo 3 Eternal Collection is $38.99 via the Microsoft Store right now. Seagate also has an expansion 8 terabyte USB 3.0, 3.5 external drive right now for $149.99. That's pretty damn good because it's only like $60 more for double the amount of space. All right, so that being said, we'll go over to the PS4. Select PS4 titles, exclusive titles are $9.99 at Fry's right now if you have a Fry's by you. I know you people in Southern California definitely do. Mass Effect Andromeda is $20 Canadian Best Buy.
Ooh, go Canada.
Yeah, the Canadians get one today. 500 gigabyte Samsung SSD is $149.99 right now via Samsung. Let's see, DualShock 4 wireless controller black, $37.99 at Newegg. They also, Western Digital is also doing the same hard drive thing, so obviously, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have the console or not for it. PlayStation 4 Pro, $366 on eBay right now. That's going to pretty much do it for PS4. Oh, on Groupon right now, as far as the Switch goes, there's not really much there, but you get $25 off a copy of Breath of the Wild right now while supplies last. Or
great game. Been playing it lately. Yeah.
And there was also a Humble Bundle, but I can't seem to pull it up. Eugene, you got it in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, but I kind of get the gist of it. So there's 2 Humble Bundles right now. There's a Telltale Bundle, and then there's also a Deep Silver Bundle, which Deep Silver, they made the games... Deep Silver... Saints Row. They made the Saints Row franchise. They have those on sale right now. So for about $15, you get more than 12 games from Deep Silver, and I'll have them pulled up here in just a second.
Okay. Yeah, so, that just did pull up. You get like Saints Row. You get hold on one second here. Where did that go? There it is. Yeah, the Humble Saints Row bundle for $1 you get Risen 3, Deadlight, Homefront, and Saints Row 2. As far as I'm concerned, Saints Row 2 was the best out of the franchise. And then if you put in more than $5.72, you get Saints Row, the third, Get Out of Hell, Mighty Number 9, and the Killer is, I can't read the rest.
Killer is dead.
Killer's dead. Yeah. And then $15 more, you get Homefront, Saints Row 4, Saints Row the third, and Saints Row Get Out of Hell. So that's not bad at all. I do not have the Telltale one in front of me right now, though. Oh, here it is. Load. All right. So if you pay $1, you get Sam Max Season 1, Season 2, Puzzle Agent 1, Puzzle Agent 2, Bone, both episodes, Hector, Bad of Courage, Telltale, Texas Hold'em. I didn't even know that existed. Poker Night at the Inventory. No idea that existed. And The Walking Dead Season 1. And it just gets better and better. Like, next one up, you get Poker Night 2, Game of Thrones, The Wolf Among Us, Jurassic Park, stuff like that. And then you get up to 15, you get Batman and Minecraft. And that's pretty much it. So, what do you got for us for questions this week, Eugene? Sir.
So we had one question that was submitted last week that was posted after we finished the show, so I'll go ahead and read through that. It was from Dylan Anderson. What do you guys do for a living, and how do you balance it with gaming and the podcast? That is a very good question.
So I'll go ahead and go first here. We don't have to get into like specific company names or whatever. But I do training for a retail company, and Eugene's gonna have a very similar answer to me. But I do training, so any new salaried managers that come in the regional area, I do a 5-week training class with them. Basically a teacher, I guess you call it. getting them trained and ready to go do their job. And how I balance that with gaming, it's a little easier now because the position I held before that with the same company was much, much more time consuming and much less predictable in terms of hours. So it's a little easier to balance, but there's still a balance to be had, and free time is fairly limited, like it is for anybody that works full time. I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate, whether you're employed full time or you're in school full time, or hopefully not both for you. But you just have to prioritize, and we've actually been talking about it lately, like kind of game planning, like how we're going to attack this fall together.
Yeah.
So we don't.
And you get fired.
Yeah. So
that's my game plan.
So we don't. Sometimes we get like too into one game, and oftentimes it's like NHL because it's just what everybody has that we play with, and we play it. And then other games that we get really excited for and we buy, like Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2, and other games, we end up not putting in as much time as we thought we would.
I'd say they'd be collecting dust, but they're actually on my hard drive, so they can't physically gather dust.
They're collecting virtual dust.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way because I love Battlefield 1 and I really like Titanfall 2, and we just never play because whenever I get a message from somebody, it's literally 4 characters typed in. It's NHL ? And that's what it is. So I think we have to be better about prioritizing what we're going to do. Like we've already talked, like 2 days a week for sure. We're playing Destiny 2. One's going to be the Nightfall, and the other one's going to be the Raid once a week. And, gear up that way and level, get better gear and all that type of thing, level up, all that good stuff. And, then when other games come out too, like, NHL comes out 2 weeks after that, we'll play that a couple, 3 times a week. And, other games, Battlefront. And there's so much stuff coming out that's awesome, like Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein and Forza and
Shadow of War.
And, not to mention, Shadow of War. Not to mention Mario Odyssey and all these games.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Plus for me, and I know you guys aren't as big into it, but for me, Call of Duty World War II is really intriguing. And
I'm totally playing it this year. Totally playing it.
So it's how you prioritize, and I just think that you have to do a good job prioritizing and not go all in. Either just get one game and focus on it, or if you're going to get all of them, then force yourself to say, hey, this night I'm playing this game, and this night I'm playing this game, so on and so forth. So that's it for me. Who wants to go next?
I can go ahead and follow up. Like you said, I work in talent development. We have the same job. So talent development, helping managers being successful in their jobs. I find it very hard to mix gaming into the balance anymore. I still pick up the hottest games, but it leads to a huge backlog. I have a huge backlog of games for Xbox, PS4, Nintendo Switch, PC. Huge backlog. I think the latest game that I have finished that's come out in the last few months is Breath of the Wild.
Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, well, that came out in December. So, yeah, I beat Final Fantasy, beat Breath of the Wild. I have Horizon in my disk drive right now. It's really just getting into the mood and just starting it and playing it. Because after being at work, I'm at work about 10 hours. Wake up early in the morning, and then after I get off work, I have my girlfriend and I got my baby. I'm kind of tired, so I don't really have the opportunity. If it is, like you said, Tyler, it's, hey, you guys want to play NHL tonight? And we play that for 2 hours, and then it's bedtime. So need to get into habit more of playing some more single player games. It's just really about, I guess I could give some advice is just to be more structured. That's what I really need to do is I have to force myself to play games sometimes, but really just have a mindset and stay committed to that. I'm going to play Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm going to play it until I beat it. I mean, that's what I've had to do basically with games. I did it with Ori recently after E3. I'm just like, I'm going to beat Ori, and I played it for about a week and beat it, and now I'm needing to play another game. But I'm still picking up the latest games. I picked up Splatoon 2 last week, played it for a few hours, haven't really picked it up. Mario Kart, still playing it. Playing a little bit off and on of Horizon. Xbox, I finally beat. I forgot about that. I finally beat Battlefield 1, working on Titanfall right now. But it's really just being committed and having that mindset that got to finish games and need to stop having ADD. I call it ADD with video games, jumping around between video games too often and getting distracted by some online games, things like that. So I think I'm ready for this holiday season. I already have a mindset of these are the games I'm going to get, and these are the games I'm going to stay focused with. And some of them I might, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait it out until after the holiday, wait for some price drops, and then I'll pick them up and play them. But definitely Call of Duty, definitely Destiny has my biggest attention right now after playing the beta and everything. That I'll probably put the most time into it. That's it for me.
That's it. You like to go, Mike?
No, you go ahead, man.
Okay, well, I worked full-time job as an electrician, and then I let my dishes pile up and the grass were long. No. So basically, it's managing time. I'm actually going through Breath of the Wild for the second time, which I have so many other games that I could be playing that I haven't even touched, but I'm still having a great time playing it, and I don't feel bad about leaving these other games out. But basically, I just need to throw another game into the mix besides NHL and spend my time with that. Yeah, basically time management is the biggest thing, and I sleep as least as possible. So basically, when I die, I'll catch up on all my sleep. But yeah, no, I also have like a backlog of games, and if you're disciplined, you can get through it pretty fast. Like if you punch in like maybe 4 hours a day after work or something like that. But when you go into like the big open world games where you could just kill so much time, you basically gotta focus on like going through the main missions of the game and not doing all these side quests and running around and collecting flowers or whatever, what have you. Like The Witcher, that was a game that twice now I've attempted to go through it, and I haven't touched that game in forever. And I honestly don't know when I'll get back to it. Hopefully sometime. I'm just hoping after all these games come out at the end of the year, maybe next year will be kind of slow. I'm hoping anyways. But it's really hard though when you have PC and you got the Nintendo Switch and you got the PS4 and you got the Xbox One and you just keep buying games. So basically, you just need to be more disciplined, and just if you don't know you're going to play that game, then don't get it. And maybe if it goes on sale, get it when it's on discount, or maybe it'll come to Games Gold or PS Plus. So yeah, basically, you just have to pick and choose your battles and have your head down and charge forward. That's my advice, and I try to take that advice. Sometimes I don't. And that's it for me.
All right.
Last but not least,
Mike.
This is kind of a weird one for me. I'm kind of weird about a couple of things, and one of them is disclosing what I do for a living or, stuff like that. I have 2 sources of income, hopefully 3 by the end of next week. I'm just really weird about disclosing certain things like that, and to the public. So I'm not going to answer that first question, but the answer to the second question is when I feel like it. Sometimes I just feel like being gone all the time. Sometimes I feel like playing video games all the time. Sometimes I don't feel like playing video games at all. I guess I just make time for what I want to do. If I want to play video games, I'll make the time for it. If I want to, go to a bar, I'll make time for it. If I want to get an ice cream, I'll go make the time for it. I mean, I don't know.
I always need to make time to go get ice cream.
Yeah.
Ice cream is very important in life.
I don't even know if there's a Cold Stone here. Is there a Cold Stone here?
Oh, Cold Stone's overpriced. I mean, they're delicious, but
I wouldn't even know. Last time I walked into an ice cream shop was Baskin Robbins, so.
I don't think we have those in Canada.
You don't have Cold Stone because you guys are lame.
No, not Cold Stone, Baskin Robbins.
Well, then you're double lame.
We have Cold Stone, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much that. Let's get the next question going.
Okay. Brian Richland asked, by the way, happy birthday, Brian. I saw that
happy birthday
this weekend, and also I think our next question as well has a birthday as well. It's just a birthday weekend.
All right.
So Brian Richland asks, do you have any gaming musts that you do when you have a long gaming marathon? So any foods or drinks? A lot of the times I like to have a few beers and listen to some music if the game isn't dependent on its soundtrack. So any gaming must have with you while you're gaming. Well, I'll go ahead and start. I mean, usually whenever, especially if it's like late night gaming, if I'm off the weekend, Friday, Saturday night, I'll have a small glass of vodka with me and a little bit of chaser or a beer. Really, I don't like to eat food while gaming because I'm really picky about keeping my controller clean and keeping my area clean. So I don't do a lot of eating while gaming. So really, it's just having a drink next to me. Other than that, I mean, I constantly have my phone next to me, especially if it's a tedious game where I have to access a guide or something. I like to have my phone.
Guide, come on now.
Well, I do a lot of achievement hunting, so I don't like to miss any achievements. So if I make it to a point, I'm like, I need help finding this collectible, or I know there's a special something you need to do in this chapter. I might,
I did that with God of War, actually.
Yeah, I'm a big, and that's something else too about time with gaming. Yeah, I love achievements, but sometimes it can kind of flatten out the experience for me because I focus too much on, I can't miss. I got to get as much gamer score as possible, or many trophies as possible. But I always have my phone next to me, and I like to have a small little drink, to ease the tension.
Well, on that note, that for game guides, that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the collector's edition, the huge one, Eugene, I finally cracked that one open when I was playing through. That thing looks so nice, man.
Is it beautiful?
It is beautiful.
Mine's in the wrapper.
Yeah, I know I cracked it probably a week ago or something like that, but it's awesome. That's all I got to say about game guides.
You're right. I got a weird one. For some reason, when I'm gaming or watching TV or whatever it is, I kind of eat like a bird, so I'll eat like a half a sandwich at a time. But I really, really, really like turkey bacon avocado BLTs.
That sounds
on sourdough. Awesome. So I have a tendency to go through the trouble of making one of those and keeping it in foil around me, and sort of just chew on it all night while I'm playing or watching TV.
Were you spying on my Facebook or something?
No, why? What's up?
I posted on Facebook that I had a BLT and I was talking about I needed avocados for it, so it was just kind of ironic that you brought
can't
that
have
up.
a BLT without avocados.
Wouldn't it be
I didn't have any avocados.
BALT?
You can add anything you want to BLT, and it's still a BLT. You got to have the tomato.
Could be tablette.
Yeah, it's not a bacon lettuce sandwich without the tomato. You got to have a BLT. So.
Yep. Add a little mayo. Add like a full thing of avocado, right on the top. Smash it down.
I don't know if I want that gaming, getting bacon grease on everything and.
No. Bake your bacon, man.
I do bake my bacon. I just recently have done it since we're talking about, because frying up bacon is just too messy.
No, it smells so good though, man.
It smells good when you bake it.
Yeah.
Then you
need cooking time. If you want to bake your bacon, it's a lot. Get some aluminum foil onto a pan. Get a cookie rack, and put your bacon across that cookie rack on top, and bake it at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes, and you have a greaseless mess, and you have crispy bacon. It's delicious.
Yep. It is. So much easier. So many more pieces you can put on at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't really munch on anything while I'm like playing a game or whatever. But but I do play, I'll have something to drink, either maybe a beer or something else, doesn't, maybe soda, maybe water, whatever. Nothing that's really what I would call, like a constant habit, though. So, I can't say I have a total gaming habit in terms of what I have or don't have.
Yeah, like, not like food, but the atmosphere it's got to be quiet and no distractions. I put on my headset and I got sound canceling headphones, so I just get completely immersed in the game, and you can just leave me and I might get hungry and I'll go grab something quick to eat, or maybe I'll bring something like to munch on while I'm doing. But basically, I'm not eating too much while I'm playing. Basically, for the same reason, Eugene. I don't like getting grease all over my controllers and stuff like that. So basically, I'll just eat and get something in me quick. Like I'll have something to drink, obviously, because gotta stay hydrated. It's important. But yeah, so, I got no rituals.
On that topic, what is your guys' like preferred drink? Because I brought up beer last night, and I actually got made fun of for my beer choice. You know, which it really wasn't my beer choice.
Just because the title of it, because it
is delicious.
Sounds like a ridiculous title.
You know, I'm not a beer advocate or an advertiser for beer, but I was drinking some while playing some NHL last night, and we're playing the beta. I was drinking some Not Your Father's root beer, which is a good. It is a good hard soda.
Not your father's. I don't drink is it your mother's?
Now there's a Not Your Mother's apple pie, which is an apple pie beer. But I was drinking the Not Your Father's root beer, which is pretty good. And I was also drinking some Leinenkugels. But usually I'm a Blue Moon guy. I love Blue Moon. Put a little slice of orange in there. I like relaxing. What are your guys' go-to beers?
Well, you know what? I drink beer because I turn into an asshole when I'm drinking hard liquor, and it's like a cross between an asshole and Doc Holliday from Tombstone. So it's never ever pretty. But I would forgo all the beer in the world for either tequila sunrises or vodka and pineapple.
Well,
but as far as beers go, God, Newcastle, I guess.
I like Newcastle. Nice pale ale.
For beer, for me, I stick to something simple, plain and simple. I always say I am Canadian and I drink Canadian. It's Molson Canadian beer. You guys don't get it in the States, which unfortunate.
Yes, we do.
Well, whatever.
Name a Canadian beer. What's a Canadian beer you drink?
Hoser beer.
Moosehead.
Let me get that here.
Alexander Keith's.
Never heard of that.
Alexander Keith?
Yeah.
Is he like Sam Adams? He's like the staple of Canada. Who's Alexander Keith?
Something to do with Nova Scotia. I'm not quite sure. It's a Nova Scotian beer. I am not a beer connoisseur. Basically, my attitude is after you drink one or two of one beer, you pretty much drink any beer except for like really, really dark ones like Guinness and stuff like that. It's kind of
yeah, that's true.
Kind of an acquired taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like normal domestic beers, after you have one or two of your own, you drink any beer. Like you go to a party and you run out of beer, you're gonna ask for a beer and someone gives that, you're not like, yeah, no, I'm gonna just stop drinking beer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm drinking a Bud Light right now, so.
Yeah,
exactly. I probably drank Bud Light too, and I've never bought one, but I've drank them.
Problem is the low alcohol content. I hate drinking beers that have low alcohol content because you got to drink like 40 of them to even get there. You know, I just want to get there with the least amount of carbs and call it a night.
Yeah, for me, my favorite beer is probably Blue Moon. My second would be probably Labatt. But
Labatt Blue.
Yep. But I'm not a dark beer guy. I know a lot of people love it. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Tyler.
Yeah. So.
Well, if I was gonna stay away from the dark beers, Ty, I'd say Stella then.
Mm-hmm.
I like Stella Artois.
Artois.
It's really good.
I like just yelling, Stella!
Give me a Stella. Give me a Stella. All right, let's move on to our next question. So, Steven Wiseman. Happy birthday, Steven Wiseman.
Happy birthday, Steven.
Since there's
it's like birthday announcements.
Yeah.
Since there's been a few betas recently, so I know we played Destiny 2 and we played NHL 18. Recently for games we're looking forward to, has there been a game where its beta convinced you to either buy because you weren't planning on buying or not buy? Well, I haven't had that experience too often.
It probably wasn't beta. It was probably a demo. But when I played Battlefront, the first one, I did not enjoy the demo whatsoever.
You're talking about the EA Access, right? The 10-hour deal.
Oh yeah. So I guess it's kind of like a beta, I guess. But
well, no, that's the actual game. I mean, that's the final game.
Yeah.
So you're playing the real deal.
Okay.
And that's fair.
Well, Yeah. So when I played that, it turned me off from it because I thought about maybe getting it, but it did turn me off. But as far as playing one that I'm like, oh, I got to get this, nothing comes to mind. But I've never played Destiny 1, and I played the beta of Destiny 2, and I had a really good time, and I'm happy that I pre-ordered it, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. It was a fun game.
So I want to bring up, we do have another question from David Cockrum. He asked, feelings on the Destiny 2 beta. It ended this week. It felt really far off on gameplay being finished for me. Characters were not moving smoothly. It felt jerky at times. Well, I just want to say that it's a beta. It is a beta, so you're going to have that experience. Destiny 2, and I'm pretty sure the Destiny 2 beta, it was an early build, was it not? They said it was an early build. So it was definitely far from finished build. I didn't have too many issues with it though. I thought it was fun. The online gameplay was fun. We didn't have any issues with it. We even won a few games. I thought the gameplay was fun and didn't have any issues with that. I'm still going to buy Destiny. NHL. I actually deleted the NHL beta last night. I played, the few hours of it. I'm like, I don't need this on my hard drive anymore, so I went ahead and deleted it. I'm still going to buy it, but I felt there was a lot of glitches and things that were to be worked on, but I'm not going to judge the final game off the beta, and I haven't really had a time where I made the decision, I'm definitely buying this game based on the beta, because I don't think betas are for that. It's just to give you a taste, and then also to test their servers as well. That's really why I have betas nowadays, is to test their servers.
Stress tests.
Yeah, it's a stress test now, and I don't know. Like, if it's a demo or the free 10 hours of playtime on EA Access, then I think it's totally fair to judge a game and make a decision based on that. I think too many players go into betas or alphas, though, and determine whether or not they're going to buy a game based on that because they assume that's the game.
Yeah.
And it's not. And, I remember I wasn't 100% sure on Titanfall 2 last year after playing that technical alpha.
Yeah.
But I remembered, hey, it's an alpha. They're testing their servers. They're testing all this stuff. It's not the final game. And the final game was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair. I think too many players now judge games on betas, and they treat betas as if they're a demo.
Yeah.
And
all right, but
yeah,
I got an argument for you here. All right, now I know everybody loves it when we go into detail about NHL, but NHL 18, the gameplay of it, okay, so the AI is better. Yes, right. But there are still the same things that have been going on for the past 2 years that are going on in this beta. Not being able to pick up the puck, just running right by it, saluting, all kinds of stuff that just never ever gets addressed. But they'll throw in a mascot now where it sits there and does a little jig on the side of the ice while you're, leveling up your team and everything like that.
I find personally that in that specific game, when I'm not able to pick up the puck skating by it, that's 1 out of 50. Most of the time I'm able to get a stick on it or do something. When I don't pass correctly, or I don't complete a hit, or I don't do something else, or I take a penalty, that's my fault. I messed up. And it's that's just how I've always seen it.
What are we talking about here? Because I think we're talking about two different things. Because I'm talking about stuff that they said that they would address and fix that they never did. Like on that one spot I told you about, right over there by the player benches. That spot is notorious for not being able to pick up the puck when it's just right there, and freaking Happy Gilmore could pick it up, and you miss it constantly. So, and it's still not been addressed, even though they have said, well, we're going to fix this and everything like that. No, we didn't.
But 18 the 18 beta isn't the final game either. So
yeah, but
so judge not until final product.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even taking it seriously last night. Like, I was just wanting to get a feel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, none of us were taking it seriously last night. That's what made it fun.
Yeah.
Was because we're just goofing around and just seeing all the crazy things we could do in the ice and seeing what would happen. Yeah. And the other team had a field day, I'm sure. But no, I mean there were some issues, but I'm not gonna judge the final game. I just hope that it felt really clunky. Is a totally different feel from NHL 17, but I'm not going to base the final game. I'm still getting it. There's been very few times where I played a beta and I'm just like, this game sucks. I'm not buying it. I don't think that's ever happened.
Weird, because it didn't feel any different to me.
Oh, the game feels so different to me. There's a lot different in this game.
I'd agree with Tyler on that.
I don't hold sports games to this standard of perfection, and there's gonna be glitches and crap in sports games. There are every year, no matter what the game is, and because they have actually they don't even have a 1-year development cycle. They have probably a 9-month development cycle.
But like a thing too for NHL, like I see like where you're talking about frustration about not picking up the puck, where you think, oh, you skate over, you should pick it up. But like I play hockey on the Wednesdays, and I find I'm in that situation where I feel like I should have picked up the puck, but I completely miss it. So, like, I see how it's more realistic, but it is frustrating because you think you should be able to pick it up. Because maybe if I was a superstar, I'm not saying I'm to the caliber of these players,
right.
But I don't know about these EHL players. Like, if you had a player from the game, like say Crosby, one of the higher rated players, if they would be better at picking it up, and they just like. They kind of treat it like a shinny where you're just like throwing in, you're playing hockey, right? I don't know if that's what they're going for,
well,
but to me it does feel more.
You don't watch the NHL, and if a puck gets into a player's skates, they don't handle it cleanly.
Yeah.
If you'll see guys skate by a puck sometimes and not pick it up cleanly, and the bottom line is too. I mean, there's people trying to stop you, and they're usually right on top of you, and that's part of it too. I mean, sometimes they get their stick in there, and sometimes they don't make the pass not fire off correctly, and sometimes they keep you from picking it up. And,
okay, I'm going to end this debate, but the fact of the matter is the 3 times that this has happened to me, there's been nobody around. Either the puck is coasting in front of me, and I couldn't have a better chance of picking it up, or it's just sitting there in that same exact dead spot that was in the last 2 games that they said that they were going to address. They have not addressed it, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be things in sports games, whether it's Madden or NHL or NBA 2K or MLB The Show. As good as MLB The Show is, that has things in it too, and they're just there. And I think it comes down to with sports games, and I know a lot of our listeners don't play a lot of sports games, so I apologize for this rant, or this discussion. But if you focus on the things that are wrong, you're going to hate it. And if you just accept there's going to be things every year and just go with it, it'll be fine, and it'll still be fun. And
you have to.
I go in every year accepting that there's going to be stupid things that occur. There just are. And that way I don't focus on them and dwell on them, and it's still a fun experience. So, but anyway, anything else, Eugene, that we have?
No, we did not have any.
Okay.
No, we didn't have any more questions.
Okay. So
no more.
Let's wrap up and get out of here. And I'll remind you guys to head on over to Facebook and join the Gaming Culture Radio forums. Submit questions to have a chance to win our monthly giveaways. You can also get all your gaming news over at cultureofgaming.com. And when you're there, please check out our Twitch page and our YouTube page to get all both the latest in gaming news and see some cool content on Twitch and YouTube. So with that, for Graham, Mike, and Eugene, I'm Tyler saying thank you so much for listening to episode number 64 of Gaming Culture Radio. We'll be back next week with number 65, heading into August, which means Gamescom's right around the corner. We'll be talking more about our Gamescom schedule, and I think we have some a couple of cool changes coming after Gamescom that we're going to talk to you about. But until then, everybody, stay safe, have a great week, and play some great games. We'll talk to you next week.
Happy gaming. Good luck with that time management.